And now, as she faces her family's challenges, the love she's poured out for years is being returned 100-fold. People are standing by her, reminding her of something she's always told others, that healing is not something we do alone. As she continues her journey, Jenna's message remains one of resilience and hope. She has taught millions that even in moments of pain, beauty can be found. That even when we break, we can still shine. And that sometimes opening up about our struggles doesn't make us weaker, it makes us human. It's not easy for someone in her position to be vulnerable. The spotlight can be harsh, the headlines can twist the truth, and the world can be quick to judge. But Jenna has always met it all with grace. She has said before that she doesn't want to be remembered for fame or politics, but for kindness, empathy, and connection. And this moment proved that she already is. As fans continue to rally behind her, one thing is certain. Jenna Bush Hager has left a mark that goes far beyond television. She's inspired countless people to reach out to loved ones, to say, "I love you," while they can, to hold on to hope even when life feels unbearable. Her story reminds us that no matter who we are, life can change in an instant. But what defines us is not what happens to us, it's how we respond. And Jenna responded with courage, compassion, and heart. So, wherever you are right now, maybe watching her on your morning routine or hearing her story for the first time, take a moment to reflect on what she said. Hold close the people you love. Say the words you've been putting off. Reach out when you need help. Because as Jenna reminded the nation, love truly does make everything better. And even through tears, her story is not one of tragedy, but of faith, family, and the unbreakable human spirit. Jenna Bush Hager's strength has become a mirror in which millions see their own resilience. Her pain reminded us of something timeless, that we are all connected by love, by loss, and by hope. And in the quiet after the broadcast ended, when the cameras stopped and the studio lights dimmed, Jenna sat surrounded by messages of love from strangers she had never met. That's when she whispered softly to a producer, "If this helps even one person feel less alone, then it's worth it." Those words, simple yet profound, perfectly capture who Jenna Bush Hager is. A woman who leads with heart, who turns her own struggles into light for others, and who, even in her hardest moments, reminds us all that we are never truly alone. Because love, as her little one said, really does make everything better.
A story comes along that makes the whole world stop for a moment. A story that reminds us how fragile life can be, and yet how powerful the human spirit truly is. This week, such a story unfolded on national television, one that left millions of people in tears. It came from someone known not just for her name, but for her warmth, her laughter, and her kindness. Jenna Bush Hager. You may know Jenna as the bright and cheerful co-host of The Today Show, daughter of former President George W. Bush and granddaughter of the late George H. W. Bush. But on this particular morning, when the cameras started rolling, something was different. Her usual sparkle, her effortless humor, her Texas charm, they were still there, but dimmed by something deeper. Her smile trembled, her eyes glistened. The nation's mourning suddenly felt heavier. Then, as she took a deep breath and steadied herself, Jenna began to speak. Her voice soft, but filled with emotion. And in that moment, the world watched as one of television's most beloved hosts laid her heart bare. It wasn't another one of her funny parenting stories. It wasn't about books or motherhood or family adventures. This was something else entirely. Something personal. Something painful. With tears filling her eyes, Jenna told her co-hosts and the millions of loyal viewers at home that her family was going through an incredibly difficult time. She didn't reveal every detail, but her trembling voice told us everything we needed to know. This was real. This was heartbreak. But even in her grief, Jenna did what she always does best. She connected. She used her pain to reach out to others. She reminded everyone watching that no family, no matter how famous or strong, is immune to life's challenges. She said softly that every family faces heartbreak in one way or another, and that she hoped by sharing her story, no one would feel alone in their struggles. And just like that, the Today Show transformed. What began as a morning broadcast turned into a moment of national unity, compassion, and reflection. Within minutes, social media was flooded with messages of love and support. Fans from across the country wrote that they were crying with her, feeling her pain as if it were their own. One fan said, "Jenna, you made us feel seen. You made us realize it's okay to hurt, and it's okay to hope." Among the flood of messages, one handwritten letter stood out, from an elderly woman who had just lost her husband of 45 years. In the letter, she wrote, "Jenna, thank you for reminding me that love doesn't die. It simply changes shape." That simple, beautiful line stayed with Jenna. Later, she admitted she cried again after reading that letter, long after the camera stopped rolling. For Jenna, family has always been the center of her world. Growing up as the daughter and granddaughter of presidents, she was raised under the spotlight, but her values were shaped not by politics, but by love, loyalty, and faith. And on that emotional morning, those values shone brighter than ever. She recalled the wise words her late grandmother, Barbara Bush, once told her. "At the end of your life, you won't regret one more test, or one more meeting, or one more deal. You'll regret the time you didn't spend with your family." Now, as she faced her own family's hardship, those words carried a new weight. Jenna, a devoted mother of 3, shared that her biggest concern wasn't for herself, but for her children. She worried about how they would handle seeing their mother struggle. But then, as only children can, they surprised her. Her youngest looked up at her one day and said, "Mommy, love makes everything better." Jenna said in that moment, she felt something shift. That tiny sentence, innocent and pure, rekindled her hope. And with tears still in her eyes, Jenna turned to the camera and said something that has since echoed across the nation. "No matter what you're going through, you are not alone. Our hearts may break, but together we can help each other heal." Her co-hosts, visibly moved, gathered around her during the break. They hugged her, whispered comforting words, and reminded her, "You don't have to carry this alone. We're your family too." And that was when something remarkable happened. The audience became a community. Churches across the country mentioned Jenna in their prayers. Online groups organized candlelight messages of support. People began sharing their own stories of loss and resilience, inspired by her courage to speak up. What started as a heartbreaking confession turned into a movement, a wave of love and kindness spreading across the nation. A former guest of the Today Show, now battling cancer, even returned to the studio just to thank Jenna. With tears in her eyes, she said, "You gave me strength when I had none left." That moment, raw, unscripted, and full of humanity, reminded everyone watching why Jenna Bush Hager has such a special place in people's hearts. For years, viewers have woken up to her laughter, her storytelling, and her sincerity. She's not just a host. She's a friend, one who shares her life openly, who admits her flaws, who laughs at herself, and who makes others feel less alone. So when Jenna hurt, the world hurt with her. After her emotional revelation, fans flooded social media with messages tagged, "We love Jenna," and "Jenna Strong." Thousands of people sent letters, flowers, and heartfelt notes. Many said their courage had given them the strength to face their own struggles, to talk openly about grief, illness, or fear. It's rare to see that kind of bond between a television host and her audience. But Jenna isn't just a public figure. She's a reminder that vulnerability is a form of strength. Celebrities from across the industry also reached out. Former Today Show hosts, authors, and friends who had worked with her left encouraging comments and shared words of love. They described her as light in the dark, a voice of compassion, and the heart of the morning show. And they're right. Jenna's presence has always been more than entertainment. She has a rare gift, the ability to make people feel seen. Whether she's talking about motherhood, friendship, books, or heartbreak, she does it with authenticity, the kind that can't be faked.